Please be sure to subscribe to the channel to update the fastest and most accurate news. Hello everyone, welcome back to my High Celebrities news channel. The story for today is Wayne and Coleen Rooney's son Kai wore a cast on his left leg and used crutches as he arrived to watch a football match at Old Trafford on Wednesday while sporting a new injury. The 12-year-old plays for the Manchester United under-12s side and is following in his father's footsteps to pursue a career in professional sports. Meanwhile, his mother Coleen has been seen sporting a foot brace since March following an accident at the sprawling new-build mansion she shares with Wayne and their 4 children. It comes amid Coleen's explosive libel trial against fellow WAG Rebecca Vardy, which finally reached the Royal Courts of Justice in London this week. Stepping out to watch an under-18s match on Wednesday, Kai wore a khaki Givenchy jumper and black Slazenger tracksuits while supporting himself with crutches. Later in the day he shared a snap of his boot on Instagram and wrote in the caption, "Out for a few months." A representative for the Rooneys has been contacted by Mail Online for a comment. While Kai has not commented on the cause of his injury, his mother Coleen has also been sporting a plastic air boot after injuring her foot in March. A source told Mail Online, Coleen has had a fall at home and suffered a fracture. She was in quite a bit of pain and had to go to hospital. It should take about 6 weeks to heal. Wayne is doing all he can to help as she is having to hop around and use a crutch. Referring to the former Manchester United and England striker's own injury woes, among them a broken metatarsal sustained just weeks before the 2006 World Cup, the source added, Wayne knows all about foot injuries. Retired footballer Wayne has broken bones in his foot on 3 separate occasions, beginning with an injury that effectively ended his, and England's, participation in the 2004 European Championships. He was also sidelined for 6 weeks after injuring his foot against Reading FC during Manchester United's opening game of the 2007-08 season. Wayne's eldest son joined the Red Devils Academy in December 2020 and is obviously keen to follow in his father's footsteps and reach the top of the game. Rooney Jr. spent time training with City's youth teams at the age of 7 before moving to America when his dad signed for DC United, playing for Bethesda SC Washington. He then signed for United upon Rooney's return to play and later managed Championship club Derby County. After Kai signed his deal, Rooney said, "I'm a proud dad, H has been working hard. He obviously came over to the States with us to continue with his football. He went on trial with Manchester United and HES impressed the coaches. He signed his forms yesterday, so I'm delighted for him. He did have other options, other clubs to go to, but he decided he wants to sign for Manchester United, so it was his decision and not mine." His son Kit is also in United's academy setup. Excitingly for United fans, Kai Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. are also showing a great understanding for the under-12s team and recently both got themselves on the scoresheet in the same game. Today's second installment of the £3 million Agatha Christie libel trial between Rebecca Vardy and Coleen Rooney featured a tearful appearance in the witness box, WhatsApp gossip about a mystery celebrity affair and yet more foul-mouthed text messages, all brought to an end by a fittingly dramatic fire alarm. Coleen publicly outed her fellow WAG when she accused her of sharing 3 fake stories she had posted on her personal Instagram with the Sun as part of what she described as a social media sting operation. Rebecca vehemently denied the allegation, leading her to launch the pricey legal action which saw its second day on Wednesday. While yesterday's hearing dredged up Peter Andres' alleged chipolata manhood, today focused on Rebecca's relationship with her agent Caroline Watt. She was accused of instructing Ms. Watt to leak stories about footballer Riyad Mahrez, the model Danielle Lloyd's miscarriage and one unnamed high-profile celebrity's alleged affair. She was also accused of staging a photo to help push her column in The Sun, by deliberately sitting behind Coleen at the Euro 2016 tournament, before allegedly telling a worker at the stadium, who pointed out that that was not her seat, to FK off. Vardy branded the claims nonsense. By all accounts, the atmosphere remained palpable, with Mrs. Rooney seen furiously taking notes throughout her WAG rival's testimony, and that was before the court read out WhatsApp messages sent by Mrs. Vardy, in which she branded Coleen ACT for unfollowing her on Instagram. Meanwhile, Wayne Rooney, who had entered the court carrying a so-called man bag stuffed with files, could not look at Mrs. Vardy as she gave evidence, opting to look straight ahead instead. There was a rare moment of light relief amidst the morning's fierce cross-examination when Mrs. Rooney's lawyer David Sherborne mentioned that his junior, Ben Harmer, was very adept at searching online through social media on his phone. Rebecca shot back, without smiling, "I know, Mr. Harmer follows me on Twitter," to laughter in the court. Much like yesterday, the high-profile wags both put their best fashion foot forward. Looking effortlessly elegant, Coleen, 36, opted for a £32.99 printed dress from Zara, which she teamed with one Chanel loafer. She has been sporting an air boot on her other foot since suffering a fracture after a fall at home in March. Meanwhile, Rebecca, 40, went for a full-on designer look, pairing a black, high-neck £1,780 Prada dress with a matching £1,245 blazer from Alexander McQueen, yet another Duchess of Cambridge-approved designer. However, proceedings almost had to be paused when Mrs. Vardy became visibly emotional when she was again asked about the harassment from social media trolls, who had threatened to rape her 2-year-old daughter. This afternoon, barrister Mr. Sherborne, for Mrs. Rooney, referred to an article in The Sun from 2017 where Rebecca spoke of the vile abuse she had received online, including the sick rape threats against her child. "Horrible stuff," said Mr. Sherborne, before Judge Mrs. Justice Stein saw that Rebecca was dabbing at her eyes with a tissue and suggested the court took a break. Rebecca shook her head and carried on. Asked again a few moments later if she would like a break, Rebecca replied, "I don't think it's going to make any difference, to be honest." Rebecca denied the suggestion she was building a relationship with The Sun by consistently providing it with exclusives. "I'm working with The Sun because they are going to print the story. They are going to give me the opportunity to give my story," she said. Earlier today, Mr. Sherborne read out a series of texts in which Rebecca told her agent Caroline Watt to leak stories about footballer Riyad Mahrez, the model Danielle Lloyd, and one unnamed high-profile celebrity. In response, she told the court these exchanges were never serious and Ms. Watt would have understood this, prompting Mr. Sherborne to dramatically accuse her of lying under oath. Rebecca did admit to sharing a tip about Danny Drinkwater following his car crash, who, like Mahrez, was her husband Jamie's colleague at Leicester. The WAG said she informed Ms. Watt he was about to leave police custody because she was deeply affected by drink driving after her ex-husband killed 2 people. But when asked about a text where she told Ms. Watt she wanted money for the story about Drinkwater, Rebecca insisted she was joking. Rebecca's ex-husband Steve Clark was the boss at her timeshare company. She met him while in her 20s but they split after he caused a head-on crash which killed 2 people and saw him sentenced to 2 years in jail. Mr. Sherborne said, "You say HES only just been let out of the cells last night and then said you wanted paying for this." To which she said, "Which police station? They will need to confirm with the police station before they write it. The they shush is referring to is The Sun, isn't it?" Rebecca confirmed they referred to The Sun, but claimed her comment about wanting money wasn't serious. Drinkwater used to play for Leicester City with her husband, Jamie Vardy, and in 2019 played for Chelsea. He is now at Reading. Rebecca sent a message to Ms. Watt to tell her that Drinkwater had been arrested, the court heard. Danny Drinkwater arrested, crashed his car drunk with 2 girls in it, both in hospital, one with broken ribs, court documents show. Rebecca also said, "I want paying for this." She told the court she was deeply affected by drink driving as her ex-husband killed 2 people. Later, it emerged the story had already come out, holy F***. "I'm fuming, I didn't give it to you earlier," Rebecca sent in a message to Ms. Watt. "Me too," Ms. Watt replied, "that would have been a fortune." Rebecca told the court that was correct but added Ms. Watt also included laughing face emojis. I realize how badly they read, and again I apologize, she says. But again, these are private conversations between two people that knew each other's sense of humor. The court had earlier heard Rebecca contacted her agent Muswat after Mahrez failed to turn up for training for the second day running. At the time of the exchange in February 2018, Mahrez was seeking a move to Manchester City. In the WhatsApp message, Rebecca wrote, "Mahrez not turned up for training again. The lads are fuming." Muswat suggested she contact TV reporter Rob Dorset, who was one of the journalists covering the story for Sky Sports News. Rebecca replied that she didn't want the story to come back on me. Under cross-examination from Coleen Rooney's barrister David Sherborne, she said, "It was pretty much unheard of for a player to go on strike and not turn up for training." She said the story of the turmoil in the dressing room absolutely 100% did not come from me. But she admitted that in a fleeting moment it appeared from Watt's response that she was prepared to do her dirty work for her. She insisted the information didn't come from husband Jamie, Leicester City's star striker, saying, "It was speculation of just bits of information that I had heard and overheard, and also read in the press before." She added, "Yes, it doesn't look good there. I was gossiping about things that we already in the public domain. I was just gossiping." Rebecca said she did not know whether or not her husband's then teammates were fuming about Mr. Mahrez not turning up for training. "It was probably something I was plucking from thin air, it was just a gossip, that was all," she told the court. She also said, "It was a speculation of bits of information that I've heard and overheard, and also they had been in the press before." But perhaps most relevant to proceedings, Rebecca admitted to directing her agent to look at Coleen's private Instagram in relation to a fake post she made about a car crash. In a January 2019 exchange, Muswat asked her, "Am I imagining this, or did you say yesterday that Coleen had crashed her Honda?" The court heard. "She defo has, go in the Instagram," Rebecca replied, according to court documents. Mr. Sherborne highlighted that on the first day of the trial Rebecca had agreed it would have been wrong if Muswat was looking at people's private Instagram accounts through the use of Rebecca's account. He put it to Rebecca that, in this instance, she was directing her agent to Coleen's Instagram. "Yes, I am," Rebecca said. Rebecca was also asked during the cross-examination about WhatsApp messages she sent to Caroline Watt about Coleen unfollowing her on Instagram. "What AC***, Rebecca said, when she realized Coleen was no longer following her. Coleen's lawyer Mr. Sherborne told the court about the story that appeared in The Sun about Coleen being in a car crash, written by journalist Andy Halls. Rebecca discussed in the texts whether this could have been the reason Coleen stopped following her. Rebecca said in a message to Muswat that she doesn't know how Coleen would ever know that unless Halls has leaked it, in which case please don't give him the Mr. X stuff. Mr. X was a married footballer who had an affair with a woman who became pregnant, the court heard. Mr. Sherborne suggested this means that if the journalist has dobbed us in, don't give him the juicy gossip. Rebecca said that the story about Mr. X was widely known and there was speculation on social media about it. The WAG said it was not true. The car crash post had been leaked by Muswat to The Sun. Mr. Sherborne said Muswat came up with a lie that her laptop had been left with one of the girls at her company. On the celebrity affair, Rebecca insisted she was just joking when Mr. Sherborne questioned her about what she said in reference to a story about a woman named only as Mrs. F, a well-known celebrity, her estranged husband Mr. H and Mr. G, a well-known footballer. Rebecca told Muswat that she should leak the story about her GG behind H's back, Mr. Sherborne said. Jamie Vardy's wife said she was a bit shocked and a bit disgusted about what he'd seen in the paper. Mr. Sherborne asked whether she was so annoyed that she had instructed Muswat to leak a story about Mrs. F allegedly cheating. "That's the way it reads," she replied, adding, again, in context, bits of information mixed in with other bits of information. I was actually just joking about that one. Rebecca denied the suggestion. It was standard practice for her to leak private information to The Sun via her agent. While questioning her over an alleged leak of a story about a footballer, referred to in court only as Mr. X, being unfaithful to his partner, Mr. Sherborne said, "That was standard practice, wasn't it, that you gave information to Ms. Watt and she would give it to The Sun?" When asked if Sun reporter Andy Halls was a good conduit for information, she said, "No, that's not the case. I never gave him information." Rebecca fell out with another high-profile wag which led to a legal dispute, the High Court heard. The court heard Vardy had a spat on Instagram with Danielle Lloyd, the former wife of ex-Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Jamie O'Hara. A dispute led to legal correspondence between the pair, the court heard. Coleen's barrister claimed messages between Rebecca and her agent showed she was trying to leak information about a pregnant woman who went on honeymoon to the Maldives but went on to suffer a miscarriage. Vardy revealed the woman was Lloyd but denied leaking stories. She explained why she sent a message during the exchange saying, "Shush is gone and done it now." Explaining the message under cross-examination, she said, she had been on holiday to the Maldives in the early stages of pregnancy. "You wouldn't travel to the Maldives because of Zika virus." She insisted she had not had a major beef with Lloyd but said the pair had more of a disagreement, about selecting the gender of babies. Rebecca told the court she did not agree with gender selection while Lloyd, who had the opposite view, had appeared on TV discussing the issue. Rebecca told the court Lloyd had sent her a few irritated messages adding, "She just asked me a couple of questions about a few things." She insisted she was not privy to any information on Lloyd and did not leak the story about her. The court has heard that Coleen had placed a false story about gender selection on her private Instagram account saying she had husband Wayne were trying for a baby girl after having 4 sons. It was part of her Agatha Christie investigation into who had been leaking stories about her to the press. Who's who in the case? Former friends who had a bitter falling out, the former Virgin Atlantic air hostess, and the celebrity lawyers going head-to-head. Rebecca Vardy with her agent, Caroline Watt, who had been due to give evidence in the trial but was recently found to be not fit to take part, also withdrawing her written evidence. The footballer's wife bringing the claim. Rebecca's family was thrust into the limelight after her husband Jamie helped Leicester City on their way to an unlikely Premier League win in 2016. The model and TV personality, 40, appeared on I'm a Celebrity in 2017 before later appearing on Dancing on Ice in 2021, as well as making appearances on Loose Women. The mother of 5 recently wrote a children's book with her husband Jamie, entitled Cedric the Little Sloth with a Big Dream, which follows a little sloth who hopes to become a footballer. Coleen, the footballer's wife defending the claim, is perhaps now better known as Agatha Christie after her social media posts at the heart of the libel trial went viral. The 36-year-old has had a varied career including TV presenting, writing, as well as fronting an exercise DVD. Coleen met her husband when she was 12, as the couple went to the same school in Liverpool. They began dating when they both turned 16 and have 4 sons together, Kai Wayne, Clee Anthony, Kit Joseph and Cass Mack. Mrs. Vardy's friend and agent, Ms. Watt, has featured in some of the preliminary hearings, despite not being a party to the claim or giving evidence at the trial. She is a former Virgin Atlantic air hostess who has been Rebecca's agent for the past 7 years, helping to build her profile in the national media. Reports that she no longer represents her following the current controversy engulfing the two have been dismissed as inaccurate, with Ms. Watt remaining close to Ms. Vardy both professionally and personally. Ms. Watt, 39, is married to former footballer Steve Watt, who played briefly for Chelsea, making 1 Premier League appearance for 2 minutes in 2005 and Swansea City. He is currently manager of Kent non-league side Hythe Town and they have 2 children. After leaving the airline industry, Ms. Watt began working as an agent in the world of entertainment, quickly developing a reputation for her communication skills and ability to network. She was formerly employed by talent agency The Front Row Partnership, but left in 2019 to go it alone and took her main client and close friend, Ms. Vardy, with her. Ms. Watt has been credited with building Ms. Vardy's public profile by ensuring that she regularly featured in the national media and also brokered the deal for her to appear on the hit reality TV show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, in 2018. Ms. Watt started representing the high-profile WAG in 2015, when her husband, Leicester City striker Jamie Vardy, shot to fame. She is a regular visitor to the Vardy's Lincolnshire home and also socializes with Ms. Vardy, attending glitzy parties and bars. Her other clients include the former Page 3 girl Nicola McLean, but it is Ms. Vardy that has been the biggest asset in her career as an agent. Hugh Tomlinson QC, left, who is representing Ms. Vardy, is a top-flight privacy silk who has launched a number of battles with the press in a wide-spanning career. David Sherborne, right, 53, is acting for Mrs. Rooney, an experienced media barrister. Mr. Tomlinson is at the front of Mrs. Vardy's legal team in the libel case. Called to the bar in 1983, his previous clients include the Prince of Wales in his legal battle against the Mail on Sunday over his diaries, EasyJet founder Sir Stelios Hadjiioannou and oligarch Roman Abramovich. Mr. Tomlinson, who became a QC in 2002, is a board member of campaign group Hacked Off. Mr. Sherborne also has a reputation as the barrister the rich and famous turn to for legal assistance. His previous client list includes Diana, Princess of Wales, Hollywood actor Michael Douglas and former Prime Minister Tony Blair and his wife Cherie. Mrs. Rooney's barrister is no stranger to high-profile libel trials at the Royal Courts of Justice, notably representing Johnny Depp in the actor's 2020 libel claim against the publisher of The Sun, News Group Newspapers, NGN. The barrister, called to the bar in 1992, has also represented dozens of claimants, including celebrities, suing NGN over phone hacking at the News of the World. The High Court judge overseeing the case, Mrs. Justice Steyn, pictured right, was appointed in 2019 and sits in the Queen's Bench Division, the part of the High Court which deals with defamation, personal injury and breach of contract claims. As well as overseeing the Wagatha Christie claim, other prominent cases she has heard include Aaron Banks' libel claim against journalist Carol Cadwallader and the FDA union's unsuccessful legal challenge over Boris Johnson's decision to support Priti Patel following bullying accusations. The daughter of former Law Lord Lord Steyn, Mrs. Justice Steyn covered a variety of cases as a barrister, including a case over the expansion of Heathrow Airport. That is all for today news. Please make sure to leave your comment and subscribe the channel below for more news update.